Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on something a little bit different. It's actually kind of an army review. I'm actually celebrating a bit that I've finished off this one piece now. I've been working off and on with this army idea for a long time, and the idea of this army was to have a group of kind of special forces veterans. I know everybody in 40K is a special forces vet or whatever, but I wanted them really geared up where they could operate behind enemy lines for a good long time. Full disclosure, I was watching a whole lot of Stargate, and I wondered what it would be like to have these military units kind of working off in the distance, cut off from any other kind of real support. The idea then kind of morphed into something a little bit different as well. The idea for me was to have this Imperial Navy boarding party, basically. So if there was any kind of conflict or they had a corvette or something that was disabled, they'd send in these guys to board and kind of do the damage. They could be left alone for a long time, but essentially they wanted to just go in, capture the ship, a kind of medium-sized ship or whatever, and then see where they could go from there. So let's start pulling some dudes in here, and we'll take a look at what I did and how I kind of put them together. Okay, so this is the first squad of 2 veteran units. Now these guys are, again, they're super elite. They're meant to kind of go out there. They're supposed to work behind enemy lines, but I wanted to give them a very kind of special forces kind of feel to them. So I've taken a few heads from this kit and that. These guys here in particular, these heads are from pig iron, and they're the heavy infantry head. And I wanted like a void sealed suit for the most part, so that these guys could operate with low or failing life support systems, things like that. The initial concept for this squad was to have something that would be a little bit more rangy. So the other one's a little more close assault. This one would be there to just have a little bit of range to it, or some heavy hitting power to go against infantry. So what we've got is, you'll see that we've got the 3 grenade launchers in the back here, of course. I love the kind of forces, kind of special forces kind of cap thing going on here. Great for moving behind enemy lines, things like that. I like this guy here with a scar on his face. I thought that was pretty cool. And then taking some of the command pieces of the kit. Of course, you got the bandaged arm, and but he's still fighting on regardless. I love that kind of look and feel, for this specific army. So I'm super pleased with that. We got this guy who's maybe like a young corporal kind of coming up, and he's giving orders to the teams as well. We've got some of the Forge World veterans kit here as well. I like the fact that we've got these extra lasgun clips, just to have that extra little bit of ammo as we go. And of course the slung over the shoulder lasgun is neat as well. I've clipped off all the barrels on these guys here. And actually, just a heads up, if you guys are interested in seeing, kind of how I built these guys, I'm sure you can label all the bits yourself, but if we want to go through and kind of build them, I might do a video on that. So, leave some comments down below, let me know what you think anyway. Now, the big conversions I did in here was, I needed a heavy gunner, and I know it's supposed to be on one base. I kind of came up with the idea when it was, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I'll just keep them together, and, if they're like, kind of base to base, I'll call that my 2 model base there. But this is the heavy bolter kit off the Scouts for sure. One of the pig iron heads had some optics on it, so I wanted to use that wherever I could. I thought that was pretty neat. And, I got this big, heavy, kind of badass Jesse Ventura type guy, with the heavy bolter support in there as well. Now, one of the things I like to toy with as an idea is these guys would probably be getting the best possible kit. So I wanted a mule to come with them. One, he can be the loader for the heavy bolter, so I've got the heavy bolter shells, the heavy bolter kind of magazines at the back here, and lots of these little packs all over the place. And the idea, of course, behind that is that you'll need somebody to kind of carry all your food. So took the scope off of a heavy weapons kit, and then just kind of beat the heck out of a Necron. You'll see he's got this winch here. That's actually the Necron, piece of the Necron gun itself. And I wanted to make this mule so that they could carry things like big containers of water, or anything that they would need over time. So I kind of pictured a whole bunch of these mules coming around and making life easier for these Marines, not Space Marines, just Marines that would be in space basically. And I really love that kind of look and feel to them there. Now, the second squad of the guys that's going to be in here, so there's only 2 basic units of infantry, but they're not basic, they're the veterans. The second squad is more focused on kind of a close assault role. So because I wanted them to be multi-purposed in what they do, they've got the melt-a-gun here. You can use that for breaching bulkheads or kind of heavy emplacements in the ship, what have you. You've got the heavy flamer in here as well, which of course you can take with veteran squads, which is awesome, out of the Acadian Command kit. And then you've got the flamer in here as well. Now, in the more recent versions, we can actually, I think we can take an extra flamer. I'm sure you guys will correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But we can take an extra flamer in there. So I might swap out one of these guys to do just that. The leader guy here, he's got the bionic arm out of the Acadian Command kit. He's got lots of gear on him all over the place. He's got his bolt pistol. But he's more geared with the power sword and everything for kind of that close combat, hallway to hallway type fighting. The other one I wanted to mention on here as well is that inside that kit where I got from Pig Iron with all the helmets, they've also got these little backpacks. And you'll see that I'm using these as it's like a comms backpack, but I like the idea of this kind of short, kind of stubby antennaed Vox, Vox that I can park on these guys. So both of the squads have one of those, these kind of light Voxes in the back. But I wanted everything to definitely have that, operating behind enemy lines. So as many of the pouches and backpacks and pistols and things I could kind of put on these guys, I did. I wanted to make sure that they were really geared up for that super, super long stay. Incidentally, I also wanted to mention that you'll notice that the sergeants of both of the squads have this kind of yellow chest plate. I figured there'd be a lot of smoky, interiors or kind of, very hard to see or breathe kind of environments. Or even if they're out doing a walk in space and they're kind of moving that way. I wanted to make sure that they definitely stood out. Now, I know that's sniper bait, but obviously all the squads would be forming up, very much like paratroopers. Or the old Halo ODST. So I wanted to give them a little bit of a different coloring. Just to have them stand out adds a little bit of color to the army, but it's kind of a functional, cool thing too. Now, the command squad, basically we have our lieutenant up here who's commanding the forces there. We've got the command on the sides. We have white to kind of show that command. Again, just makes them stand out a little bit from the other guys in the unit here. We got the banner here, which I think is pretty cool. I love that rich red that kind of came across on this guy here. And the pose with some of the extra arms out of the Forge World kind of veterans kit or the command kit there. I just like the fact that this guy's hauling around this banner through these corridors and hallways and what have you. The extra flamethrowers are pretty nice to have, and I know we got one too many guys here. I just wanted a few extra options. You got your logistics officer in here. You've got your kind of super Vox guy in here, and it's just nice to be able to have that kind of carry that through. But these guys definitely have more of that command kind of look and feel to them. Clearly, obviously, they got the white shoulder pads and all that. But I just want to be able to have that piece in there. Old school codex. So obviously we had the the command section in there, and we can still do that here. But now I have the option to kind of flesh it out with other stuff, and have a second command squad, or I can just kind of continue along just having this and keeping them as options. So just loving the the kind of the flavor of these guys in here, and those kind of naval colors, or what I interpret to be kind of field naval colors. I think are pretty solid in the mix here. So what I've got here now is some of the kind of the latest version of the metal sculpts of the Ogryns. I don't have the new kits yet, but what I really liked about these guys is how kind of geared up and loaded up they were. Obviously we got the Nork Deadog model here, but I'm just going to use that as my my bonehead anyways. Again, same kind of coloring with the yellow and all of that. And the kind of armor plating all put together really ties the army in. It really ties the army in. One of the conversions I did, if you can call it that, is this little kind of naval kind of seaman's cap here, which is pretty cool. Just they look like they're more like big Navy grunts and all of that. And again, they're pretty geared up, just to hold on all to all of their gear in particular. But I love the expressions on these guys, like just these goofy, wonky super fight guys for sure. And probably my favorite one out of all of them, he's just blistering and ammo. He's just super cranky and grumpy. Love the look and feel of this guy in here as well. Now the role that these guys are going to play in the army is obviously it's kind of a close support. I didn't think they'd have a whole lot of heavy support as they're kind of moving down hallways, and I thought of things as progressively getting kind of larger to smaller, so they board in the cargo bay maybe, and then well, you know, they kind of go into the kind of the smaller halls, like the storage halls, things like that. And then they want to be able to roll through the crew quarters and all of that as well. So I figured in the smaller confines, these guys would essentially form up on your heavy support, making it a very kind of interesting thing to play with. Not a lot of people were playing with them at the time, so I just wanted to have a little bit of interesting, unique variety, and something that they'd really come into their own, you know, in small corridor fights, things like that. So yeah, I love the Ogryn models for sure. So transportation is going to be a thing for these guys. So I wanted them, if they're running behind enemy lines, I figured they would get tasked with their own Valkyrie here. And the camera back here. And I wanted to have something again that kind of looked and felt like it reflected the army. I wanted something, you know, kind of that would operate, you know, in any terrain, camouflage for any condition, because you never know, because they'll be kind of coming out of orbit. And you know, I really like the idea of them having a tasked Valkyrie. I wanted to do like an all-air kind of assault version, and I may still do that. But I'm kind of liking the way the army turned out regardless. You got to start with some on the table. You got to start with some as reinforcements. So I figured a Valkyrie would be a great way to kind of go in and grab those objectives. I did dress them all up with the door gunners. I don't know if you can see in here. So they're all painted up and ready to go. Let's see the other guy here. I don't know if you can see him. Try and get him in the camera. There we go. But I really like the fact that they got these, you know, very old Huey style door gunners. So just definitely offering support. And of course, with the new rules where you don't have to, you know, measure, you know, it can be from anywhere on the vehicle. It makes a lot more sense to have those door gunners in there, because then they can kind of provide support wherever you need to be. Inside here, I've got the stations all painted up. In here, I've got, you know, the kind of the command consoles, everything like that. So he's got their displays are all painted up. And then I did a tutorial on having your canopies here and having them not kind of fog up. So it's a great way to kind of paint and protect your canopy. So I got a whole tutorial sitting on the channel, probably right before this video actually. So it's just a nice kind of way. I love the way it turned out, and I think it's pretty darn awesome to have a Valkyrie flying around. And truth be told, man, did I kind of flew this thing around the office, flew it around the house, and I just love the look and feel of it, and just the, you know, the air insertion capabilities. Narratively, that's freaking awesome. We can also use them as objectives as well, you know, get to the Joppa kind of scenarios, and yeah, love the look and feel. This is such a great model. Oh, talking about armaments, I did basically close infantry support. So I've got the one las cannon on there so that they can do some fighting against other aircraft. But I went with the multiple rocket pods, and I went with the heavy bolters because I really wanted that close infantry support role to be taken care of. Now I mentioned that these guys are going to have kind of some of the best tech available to them. And I figured it would be really cool if they had, you know, if they've got their little mule. It was kind of built this first. I thought, oh man, what if they wanted some adaptability? Now, taking, you know, tracked vehicles into kind of a rubbly environment inside a spaceship might not make the best sense. So I decided to go through this here and make a walking Hellhound. And oh man, I love these models. Like the conversion on this guy was great. It was dead simple. I've got some plates left over here from a second edition Vindicator. You can get them anywhere on any kind of Bitsy swap type thing. I've got some Orc kind of third-party arms and hands that I use for these guys, and I figured they'd be great for kind of slicing and cutting their way through bulkheads, or, you know, helping the infantry out, towing stuff out of the way, which would be really cool. But it's basically, it's a Leman Russ wheel. There's some Sentinel bits. This is an upside down Sentinel piece in here. We've got a scope from, I think this is, I'm trying to remember where this is from. I think it's a Land Raider. And then we've got another pair of scopes from a Predator, and we use that as kind of the eyes of these you know, Johnny 5 machines here for sure. Again, very kitted up with gear, you know, cargo in the back, a whole bunch of extra tools here on the side. I thought it was really cool. Now, it is a WYSIWYG. You know, off the Dreadnought, I used their big incinerator there. But, you know, I can use this as a Hellhound, and I figured, oh man, these guys walking through the hallways, you've got a heavy bolter for some support, but if there's like a whole room giving you trouble or resistance, you can have this guy if it's that kind of medium-sized hallway. You know, you can go from the hangar bay and kind of work your way in a little deeper, but this will definitely be a good beachhead kind of clearing things off. So, oh man, yeah, love love the look and feel of this guy. He's all greasy and gritty and, you know, very mechanical, very very kind of naval heavy machinery type kind of feel to him. Now, if you're going to have a walking vehicle, you might as well have like a big walking vehicle. And so this is my essentially not even a counts as, it's my walking Leman Russ. Now it is quite a bit taller, which means it gets shot more, but it also looks pretty darn cool for sure. Continuing on that same kind of theme with the armor plates from the Vindicator kit here. Got lots of extra barrels on the side full of water for the troops, and you know, just I like this, you know, great kind of moving in and maybe holding like a big hanger or something like that. So this guy would be the heavy punch going after some of like the fighters in kind of the launch bays or what have you. But again, that sense of scale where you've got, you know, the big Russ, and then you've got the Hellhound, and then you've got the Ogryns, and then you've got the infantry. I like that kind of scaling down as you get deeper and deeper into the ship. The guys are still getting kind of the main work done, but it's really nice to have, you know, something that'll hold the hangar bay. As an army, it gives me a little bit of extra heavy support. We got the old Annihilator cannon off an old Predator, or this might even be a Razorback kit here. And this guy is made up of obviously the Dread Knight legs that are in behind here. And then all this work, all these plates up front are from that same second edition Vindicator kit, which is pretty sweet. The stacks are off the Dread Knight, extra stacks here off of the, you know, some of the Sector Imperialis, the building kits, things like that. And man, what a neat conversion. It just felt right kind of putting it together. And what I do love about it is WYSIWYG. We've got the 3 heavy bolters here. We got the Annihilator cannon, which is fantastic. You know, maybe I could have done like a heavy stubber off the side, but it was already getting expensive. I wanted to keep it, you know, very low points, kind of fluffy, cool kind of narrative piece in here. You know, I got the big tower at the back for your Vox going out the door. And of course, we got our Forge World kind of tank ace, tank commander. But I can picture him obviously just kind of hanging out, seeing what's going on inside the hangar bay there. So, no, I'm really digging this. I think I'm really happy that it's finished. I think it's, I don't know, I'm ecstatic actually. I'm super chuffed. And I'm just loving the way the vehicle's kind of turned out, the color, that kind of gritty, kind of stone, kind of concrete color. I think will be great with a lot of different circumstances, and I'm super happy that the army is all finished up. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably take some close-up shots here of each of these guys, and then we'll finish it out. All right, guys, so that's it for this Imperial Navy boarding army. You know, the fantastic kind of concept of this micro army where you actually get to finish a project is great. You can go heavily into the conversions, but you're not kind of going overboard. Basically, I can snap this into any Astra Militarum force that I'm playing with, and it'll still fit. They'll just be getting assistance from the Imperial Navy. So the 13th Company campaign that I'm putting together for my old school 2nd Ed Cadians definitely are going to have a few visitors from the Imperial Navy coming down to kind of help out as Cadia's breaking up, maybe even get them off of the planet. So that's it for this video. If you liked the video, obviously hit the like button. It really kind of helps get the algorithms out there and lets me know what you guys are into. If you want more videos like this, feel free to hit the subscribe button. There's a little bell right beside it, and if you jab that, you get notifications of all of our future videos. If you go through the gaming.youtube.com to find the channel again, you're able to go hit join and support the channel that way with monthly subscriptions. I know it's a pain, but YouTube, they'll figure it out anyway. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope it was of value. I'm really chuffed to play with this army in the game, and now that it's finished, I'm sure it's going to see a lot more table time. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.